Okay, let's review the fundamentals of the genetics of blood, and then you'll have an opportunity to quiz yourself. First, a summary. Our blood types, of which there are many, and we'll see that in a second, are based off of what antigens exist on the surface of our red blood cells. That's what really we're talking about when we're talking about blood type. What antigens are present on our red blood cells? There are a lot of different antigens that exist on human red blood cells, and those are due to different genetic factors. The ABO gene is responsible for whether you have A and or B antigens. There's the Rh factor, which is a separate locus, and that determines the presence or absence of this rhesus D factor. And then we've got the MNS system, which has its own set of antigens. There are more than 3. The KEL system also has a number of different antigens that are a part of it. So different blood groups. Here in this picture, we see the ones that we talked about: ABO, RH, MNS, and KEL. And so those are each due to different genes, sometimes more than one gene acting together, different proteins, which are antigens on the surface of the cell that we're seeing here. There are other ones we didn't talk about: Duffy, Lewis, that's supposed to be an L, Lewis, all sorts of different ones, NOPS, Lutheran, all referring to those antigens on our red blood cells. I'm going to encourage you, strongly encourage you, to test yourself on what you learned by pausing this and actually trying to answer the questions. These would all be fair game on a quiz and hint. So hopefully you can answer these without my assistance, but I am going to go through them to help you. Okay. People with the ABO blood type O, which of the following is true? Do they have both A and B antigens on their erythrocytes or red blood cells? Well, if you're O, you don't have A and you don't have B, so no, you don't have both. That does explain this next one. They lack both antigens A and B. Yes, there are no A's and no B's, so that's true. Would they have neither A nor B antibodies in their plasma? Well, if you have neither A nor B antigen, you'd make antibodies to both A and B, so that one doesn't check out. B is true, C is false. Are they considered universal recipients? Well, could they get blood from somebody who's A, B, or AB? No. They would have antibodies in their blood to A and B antigens, and they would attack that blood. So the only true answer here is B. When an Rh negative mother is exposed to an Rh positive fetus, which of the following happens? Is it agglutination and clotting of the mother's blood? No, this Rh incompatibility causes fetal hemolysis, so we're not worried about the mom, really. Does it do nothing because she doesn't have any antigens? Well, mom doesn't have any antigens, that's true, but she would have antibodies against the Rh antigens, and that's why we're concerned. So B is not true. Likewise, C is not true because she would have antibodies against Rh factor. So the correct answer is D, sensitization, where she would produce antibodies against those Rh antigens. Following a motor vehicle accident, a patient is rushed to the emergency department with multiple traumatic injuries causing severe bleeding. The patient's condition is critical and there is no time for determining his blood type. What type of blood is transfused and why? Ooh, okay. So what are we worried about when we pick a person to give blood to someone else? We're worried about incompatibility. We're worried that the blood that we give to the recipient is going to have antigens in it that the recipient doesn't have. And the recipient's immune system will attack the donor blood. So we wouldn't want to give A, B, or AB blood to somebody if we don't know for sure that they have A, B, or AB antigens, because they might make antibodies then. So the safe choice would be O blood, specifically O negative blood, since we're also concerned with Rh compatibility. These O negative people are type O heroes. They are universal donors. Any person can receive their blood because they don't have antigens for the ABO type or the Rh type. And so no antibodies would attack that blood. Make sense? Okay. Who can people who have these antigens on their blood cells donate to, receive blood from, and what antibodies would they make? Let's start at the top. Somebody who has type A blood has A antigens, but no B antigens, so their body would not recognize a B antigen as self, and it would have antibodies against it. People with type A blood can donate to people with A blood or AB blood, because if you have A blood, you're going to recognize A antigens as self. If you have AB blood, you have your own A antigens still, so you would recognize it as self. You couldn't give it to somebody who has O blood because somebody without any A antigens would attack them with antibodies. And they can receive from people who are O or A. Nobody with a B, because they've got antibodies against B, and so we would attack B blood or AB blood. Somebody who has the B antigen makes antibodies against A, so the opposite of the first row. They, thus, could donate to somebody who looks like them or has both alleles codominant. So B or AB recipients could get B blood. Somebody who has B antigens on their blood could receive blood from somebody who has O and lacks any A or B antigens, because that wouldn't be attacked by antibodies, or B, because we wouldn't make antibodies against B antigens. We have B antigens in our blood. So they can't receive A blood because they would have antibodies against the A, and they can't receive AB blood for the same reason. They have antibodies against the A. Somebody with AB blood makes antibodies to neither A nor B antigen. They have very limited donation options because people's immune system will attack AB blood if they have either no A and B or no A or B. They need to have, basically they need to have A and B. So that's the only person that an AB person can donate to, because if you don't have both A and B, you would attack one or the other, and thus you would reject AB blood. They can receive blood from anyone, O, A, B, or AB, because they don't have any antibodies, so they wouldn't respond to A or B, because they have their own A's and B's, they wouldn't attack that. Likewise, AB would be fine, and since O doesn't have any antigens on it, they wouldn't have antibodies against O either. They can receive that. People who have O blood have neither A nor B antigens, thus they would make antibodies to both A and B. They can donate to anyone because no one's going to have antibodies to O. So OAB or AB would all be fair game. And they can receive blood from only type O because they have antibodies to both A and B. So not A, not B, not AB. Make sense? Okay, Punnett square question. Mom has an IA-IB genotype, aka AB blood type. Dad has type A only with one O allele. What can the kids look like? So we put the parents' genotypes across the two sides. This is mom, who's heterozygous for AB alleles, dad, who's heterozygous for A and O alleles. If mom gives this IA A allele and dad gives this A allele, the kid would be AA, which is an A blood type. If mom gives this B and dad gives this A, the kid would have one of each. They are codominant, they are each expressed, and this kid would be AB genotype, AB phenotype, AB blood type. If mom gives an A and dad gives an O, an O down here, kid would be AO, aka A. And if mom gives a B and dad gives an O, kid would be BO, aka B blood type. Make sense? Okay. Happy studying. Hope you learned something. Bye.